The average overdraft fee at a bank is $34, and banks make millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars on these fees per year. So why are so many banks getting rid of them? Banks are ditching overdraft fees, which is great for you, and maybe also the bank. Overdraft fees happen to the best of us. I know that I've personally dealt with them a few times in my life, and they're never fun. And the funny thing is, even if you get one overdraft, you might not notice it at first. So you might keep pushing transactions through your checking account or using your debit card over and over. And next thing you know, you've got tons of overdraft fees stacked on top of each other, and your bank is making over $100 for one overdraft. These kinds of fees can make so much money for banks that it's really curious why they've been deciding to get rid of them in recent years. Over the past couple of years, some major banks like Discover, Ally, Alliant Credit Union, and most recently Capital One have decided to get rid of these fees altogether. CNBC reported that Capital One will probably be missing out on close to $150 million of revenue. So let's talk about why banks are doing this and what the business reason is behind getting rid of these fees. So when a bank says that they're getting rid of their overdraft fees, what that typically means is that they're making it impossible for you to withdraw more money from your account than you have available. That can be a little bit embarrassing in the moment if you're trying to make a purchase in a store or maybe pay for a meal at a restaurant and suddenly your card is declined because you don't have the money. Some banks are working around that by offering special lines of credit that don't have interest rates. Financial institutions like Chime and SoFi Money are even offering up to $50 or even $200 past what's in your account, so that way you can pay for things in the moment and then replenish it as soon as you get your next direct deposit. So banks say that the main reason they're getting rid of overdraft fees is because overdraft fees can really affect people who are already struggling financially. If you don't have much money in your checking account and suddenly you're hit with an overdraft fee, it's going to be really hard to get out of that hole, especially if those fees keep compounding and compounding as you don't have money to replenish your account. So with banks thinking about this, it makes them a lot more competitive in the market compared to banks that are charging exorbitant overdraft fees. If you're able to get more customers who come to you because of your low or no fees, then that's really great for your bottom line. Also, it's really great for a bank's marketing and PR to be able to say that they're charging no or low fees, especially for overdrafts, which tend to be the most expensive fees that people get when it comes to their bank accounts. So ultimately, banks are not only serving their own bottom line, they're also able to get better press, and consumer watchdog reports are able to give them better star ratings. So for NerdWallet, for example, we really look at overdraft fees as a major component of how we rate a bank because they tend to be really hard on customers. So if banks are able to really get good press based on getting rid of their overdraft fees and help their customers, then it just makes a lot of business sense for them to be more competitive in that way. So let's talk about what you can do as a consumer to make overdraft fees less of a hassle in your life. If you already have a bank account, look into your bank's policies to see what they can charge you for overdraft fees for each occurrence, and see if they do a daily limit for how many times they can charge you an overdraft fee. If you do end up getting an overdraft, look into what kind of options your bank has for dealing with it in the moment. Maybe they offer a free protection transfer, meaning that if you do overdraft, your bank will pull funds from a different account to make up for that difference in the withdrawal that you're trying to make. Maybe your bank offers an overdraft line of credit, which is basically like a credit card without actually having a card involved. Your bank will allow you to have a little bit of money on credit in order to cover the amount that you're overdrafting, but there's a chance you'll have to pay a high interest rate on it. So if you haven't had the opportunity to set up any overdraft protection transfers or to open a line of credit that'll cover your overdrafts, then don't worry. If you accidentally do get an overdraft and you're a customer that's in good standing with your bank, you can typically just give them a call and they'll reverse the fee for you. However, if you tend to get multiple overdrafts in a year, it's possible that your bank won't want to offer you any more reversals. If that happens to be the case, and you start wanting to research a new bank, there are lots of things to look for when it comes to overdraft policies. First of all, you should want to look and see what you're on the hook for if you do overdraft. You should check out what the overdraft policy is for fees, lines of credit, overdraft protection transfers, and other associated fees like a continuous negative balance fee, which basically means if you don't replenish your account, then your bank could possibly charge you a fee for having a negative balance. There are a lot of options out there for banks that are removing overdraft fees altogether, as well as offering no monthly maintenance fees, no minimum balances, and high interest rates. The banking landscape is changing, and banks are becoming more and more competitive. Customers don't like getting fees, and banks are catching on to that. So even if there are some banks out there right now that don't seem like a perfect fit for you, there's a chance that their policies may change in the coming years, making it even cheaper for you to bank. I'm Chanelle Bessette, and I'm a banking writer for NerdWallet. I really wish these no overdraft policy fees existed when I was in college, because there were times when I was paying $34 overdraft fees for $2 slices of pizza. If you learned something from this video today, hit like and subscribe.